So today I wanted to talk about my journey with being diagnosed with cancer. So that's where my journey with chronic illness began. So when I was 15, I was diagnosed with a very rare salivary gland cancer. I found a lump in the right side of my face, and they did surgery. They cut from here all the way down to here. And they lifted my face and they removed the tumor. It was high grade. They had to remove my parotid gland, which is a salivary gland. So what ended up happening was it took them about 3 weeks to diagnose what type of cancer because of how rare it was. And they told my parents, they said I had 6 months to live, and they had two choices. They could either tell me I was going to die, or they could tell me I was not going to die. So my parents chose not to tell me I was going to die. They wanted me to hold on to hope. And I'll go into that further in another video. But part of the reason my parents fought so hard for me, of course it was because they loved me, but another reason was they had already lost a child and they knew how hard that was, and they didn't want to do that again. So they fought to find a treatment that would possibly either give me more time or that would save my life. And they came across a treatment in Seattle, Washington. And the treatment was called neutron radiation. It is anywhere from 20 to 100 times stronger than normal radiation. My dad told me that him and my mom had something to tell me. So we walked up to the church and he asked me to sit down and sit next to my mom. And he asked me that no matter what was said in the conversation that I wouldn't run. Because at this point, they didn't tell me what was going on. They held a lot of information back, and for good reason. So my dad said to me, he said, I have something to tell you, buddy. And I said, I know. And he said, you do? He said, well, what's that? I said, I have cancer. And he said, yeah, you do, buddy. And it's one of those things when you hear, everything else just blacks out. You can't hear anything. Cancer is one of the scariest words. And it can be so bleak because you see so many people that are diagnosed in your family or friends that have cancer and they don't make it. That might not be your story. Or maybe it is. And you believe in Christ, that's the end game. That's the ultimate healing. But this is a verse that really sticks out to me, and it's in Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. It says, "But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." So the thing is, I want you to take from this verse is no matter what happens, God can give you strength. So often people say to me, or you might hear it, they go, how do you deal with what you deal with? And if you're doing it right, you're relying on His strength. let me tell you, I'm weak physically and mentally, but through him, I'm so strong, and you can get through anything. I encourage you today to rely on his strength and not your own. And I want you to remember, God cares about your pain, and so do I.